From your perspective, what are you hearing from your member companies as are the key trends or the key issues and challenges that are facing the industry right now that they're focused on? And then after you share some of that with us, I'm going to ask that of the panel.
Well, I'll tell you, Robert Irvine hit it right on the head. There's several things going on. There's almost a perfect storm going right now in retail technology, and it's a lot of things that are hitting at once. The transition from traditional point-of-sale platforms to the influx of consumer-based IT that everybody's seeing in the marketplace. The second thing is cloud and the impact on that, especially on the independent restaurant marketplace and how to implement that. Then there's a business transition, particularly for the retail technology providers, going from a pay-up-front model to a recurring revenue or a software or solution as a service model. And then there's a whole data transaction security issue that we've been dealing with for several years. And now thrown into the mix is EMV, chip and choice, as they're calling it now, that lends a little bit more complexity to it. And then on our part, for the retail technology providers, there's also a transition or a generational shift within our marketplace. Many of the people that got into the electronics in the 70s are getting out of it, and there's a whole new generation of folks getting into the business, bringing some exciting new solutions. So,
Is POS finally a reality to be based on the cloud? Is software as a service POS finally a reality, our panelists?
Was it Jeff Chasney said he encourages all of his competitors to be completely in the cloud? But I think what you also meant by that was that without resiliency at the store level, at a workstation level, for those disconnections that we know happen. So is it a reality? Yes, absolutely. It is today. Has been for some years now. I think that reality is different depending upon the solution.
We all know there's interruptions in restaurants at the most inconvenient time. So you've got to have a nimble architecture that certainly takes advantages of new technologies on mobility and cloud computing, big data, et cetera, but don't interrupt the store. That's always been the basis of our technology design, and it will continue to be.
Alex, perhaps you'd like to comment. I'd like to know what kind of, you're in this every day, you're trying to sell these services, so what kind of challenges or what are the arguments you get that just keep coming up? What is it that you deal with?
Well, I think it's a couple of things. I think, one size does not fit all, right? So when you're talking to a provider, whether it's Comcast or any provider, you really want to understand the breadth of what they have to offer from a scalability perspective, speeds, security, redundancy.
We view this as really a shift in the center of the universe. The cloud is now the center of the universe. It's no longer these discrete transactional systems that are running in businesses. All the suppliers here on the panel will adapt their technology to talk to the internet. But I don't think there's anyone in the room here that really is going to take a position that the internet has not arrived as a business platform or something that you can conduct transactions on. So
49% of people are researching a restaurant without a specific destination in mind. So what Robert Irvine said was that it's so important to have your information online because people are searching all over the web on their smartphone devices and on their tablets and computers. So,
because your guests are more engaged and they're connected all the time. And from a brand perspective, you really needed a solution that would allow you to have a seamless guest experience. So no matter how the guest engaged you in the restaurant, online, or on the phone, on your smartphone, that they had the same experience.
The key word there is a consistent experience. An online ordering presence is only good if the consumer has a good experience. If they have an expectation of good experience and then the third-party tool doesn't talk to the point of sale or doesn't deliver them a mobile update that I'm out of that product, you quickly run into a dissatisfied customer. So you are extending your restaurant outside the four walls and you create a dissatisfied customer. So our strategy has always been to make sure it's easy technically to support, but have one version of the truth. So that same system where you're controlling your menus is controlling your mobile experience and letting a consumer know, hey, I'm sorry, we're out of this product. So they don't order it, think they're getting it, arrive at the store, have it delivered, or get a call saying, yeah, I know you ordered it. I know we allowed you to complete the order, but the product's not there. So that integration is very important.
Okay, so the integration is important. So one question that comes up a lot, and it's been, when I think about the history of point of sale systems being at the core over the years, there was always that question of best of breed versus an all-in-one.
So, our view is actually best of breed. We're bringing these things together in a single platform. We intend to integrate with every point of sale vendor here. We don't intend to go into that market at all. And we think all of the exciting things happening on the front of the house are fantastic. Have fun with that.
But over time, if you give someone a roadmap to get an additive benefit from deploying the solutions, provided that they're the best, then I believe the integrated strategy is going to be more successful than what folks talk about as best of breed.
The hardware terminal, the traditional terminal, is not dead. We're seeing a lot of companies looking to replace their existing old platform, and with a traditional terminal, I agree with everything that was just said. And I think also in some of the areas, like a QSR, like a McDonald's, like those type of customers, some of the marketing tools that can be added to a traditional terminal, whether it's a customer display or some of the payment options as we get to some of the mobile payment and the scanning of QR codes and all of those types of things, they're much more easily implemented to a traditional terminal than to some of these iPad and tablet devices. So I do think that the traditional terminal, it has to be sleek, it has to be cost effective. The design is now being taken into consideration, so some of the rules around that terminal have changed, but the traditional hardened terminal is alive.
I think the trend is certainly, and I heard this recently from a QSR, was moving to the table in one brand. And so, as an example, this summer I went to Europe, and in all over Europe, whenever you want to pay, they bring a device to the table, and you use your chip and pin and pay right at the table. So I think that we need to move in that direction rapidly.
And what mobility brings is really augmentation to the traditional workstations. Don't see that replacing traditional POS hardware anytime soon, but there's certainly a number of form factors and platforms that we need to develop to offer you. I think our job is to offer you platforms, applications that are device agnostic, and because that landscape is certainly changing rapidly.
One more question of the panel, which came up yesterday. There's a lot of great technology out there. There's a lot of software as a service technology out there. But at the end of the day, somebody's got to pay for it.
We talked about best of breed. We talked about how technology is changing the landscape and very rapidly. So really speaking, if I abstract this, what I get is customers, i.e. the QSRs, are looking for some level of technology protection. And really that is then focusing on the business outcomes, which has been our mantra, if you will. And so we're working with customers and partners, the hardware partners, the software services partners, to create an outcome model, which means we need to improve the loyalty of our customers, right? How do we increase the lifetime value of a customer? So that becomes the goal, and to that, if there is hardware, software, services that require, we bundle it together, work with the partners, and finance the deal, if you will, on an outcome basis.